I'm Tara. I was exclusively, for the most part, surrounded by narcissists and manipulative people for the majority of my life until I learned about something, and now I have zero manipulative people or narcissists in my life. And it's actually something very simple to learn, and you might find it silly, but it's actually the most effective thing I have used. The good guideline for you, because every time they say something, you want to keep these like 5 things in mind, but it's really effective because it'll keep you on track and it will stop you from getting tied into their weird circular conversation. It's also a good way to vet people because a normal person who is sincerely trying to clear up conflict will gladly answer any of the questions you are asking them or give you any relevant clarifiers, whereas a narcissist or a manipulative person is just trying to drive you nuts. I learned this completely by accident because I represented myself in federal court for 3 years in a case that had no case law, so I set the precedent with it, and in an attempt to practice how to represent myself in court, I started communicating this way in my day-to-day life, and it annoyed the narcissists away. So today I'm going to teach you form objections. Most narcissistic manipulation comes in the form of an accusation or a question, and then they use your answer against you. You can use it internally just to keep yourself in check, but it's also pretty funny to use it against them, and I got to the point being so comfortable with it, I would actually say objection. Number 1, objection compound. A compound question is one where there's more than one question being asked. When you went to the store and went to get gas, did you pick up one or more items at both places? That's a compound question. So you can object as a compound question and say, I want to answer your question accurately. Can you please break them down into smaller pieces? This will also keep you in check because you can think in your head, is that more than one question? You need to instruct them to ask you one question at a time just to ensure accuracy. Objection vague. This is a big one for narcissists. They like to kind of leave things vague and open-ended. So you want to be an asshole like I am, you can say objection vague, but you can also say something that's less aggressive, like, I really want to answer your question accurately, but I'm not sure what you're asking me. Can you please rephrase the question? Objection argumentative. If someone's escalating, it's very difficult to answer questions accurately if one or more parties is getting frustrated. So it's a good way to keep yourself in check to make sure you don't lose your temper, but also keep them in check by saying, hey, I would like to have an adult conversation, but this is getting outside the territory. Can we keep it less argumentative? That really pisses them off though. An objection calls for speculation. So this would be if a narcissist is like, I did XYZ, so I'm just the worst boyfriend in the world, aren't I? Well, it calls for speculation. I haven't had every single man in the world be my boyfriend. I can't speculate on what the world's boyfriend in the world is. Like, I can only speak for myself and my own personal knowledge. They don't like that. Objection assumes facts, not evidence. This is like when they accuse you of something that they have no evidence of. You just say, well, that assumes a fact that's not in your evidence. If you have some documentation of it, I would love to address it, but I'm not actually sure what you're talking about, so if you could please show me something I can reference so I can better answer your question. They get really mad about that one too. Asked and answered is my favorite though, because they'll ask you the same shit 25,000 million times and it drives you nuts. So answer your question. If you like your answer, don't answer again. You just say asked and answered. It annoyed every single narcissist out of my life. I annoyed them away. Do you know how hard it is to get rid of them? I annoyed them away. Didn't know that was an option, but now you do. Get familiar with these form objections. Of course, use with caution. If the narcissist or the manipulative person in question has a tendency to be volatile or violent, then, well, you just need to remove yourself from the situation if at all possible. And maybe don't poke the bear, but if you're just dealing with an asshole, feel free to use form objections.